All right, welcome back to the Extreme Oakland 12 podcast. It gives you the inside look of the premier fantasy football league based out of Michigan. We got a lot of good guests on the show today. We got the commissioner back, Austin. We also got
Rick Raji at your service.
We have three-time champ back-to-back, Thomas Smith on the show finally. And we also have Thomas Girdler. So for the rest of the show, I'm going to refer to them as Smith and Girdler. So Thomas Smith, tell us a little bit about your short history in the league here.
Yeah, so thanks, Tyler, for having me on, and Commissioner Raj for inviting me into this prestigious league about 3 years ago.
Pleasure.
So I'm going to get the cat out of the bag here, and I'm going to call out some people that have maybe called me lucky the past 3 years of my dominance, specifically Ben Ford. This dude is the most sad person I've ever met in my whole entire life, for one. Doesn't know any facts whatsoever. I have literally been the best drafter in this league the past 3 years. I've literally stacked my team. I had 3 major injuries last year, and I still won the league. So, Raj, how is that? Can you explain to me how that's luck, Commissioner?
Well, I don't personally think it's luck. I think but I will say it is embarrassing for the league that somebody can come into this league 3 seasons in a row and win 3 championships. And some people may be wondering why I keep repeating the same thing over and over and over. It's to get it in your heads that you got to end this.
Also, to go off of that, how I said that that's not happening this year. I said it last year that you're not winning it, and on the first show with Austin, I said we would make a bet that you would not go back to back. Like, I'll do something if you win it again. And we were talking about loser punishments, and everyone was saying like what the really bad ones are. I will let you choose any of the loser punishments that were done, and I will do it if you win the league again.
Ty, dude. You were underestimating my ability to be the best fantasy owner in this league, as I've proven the past 3 years.
I'm throwing it out there. That's what I know. I'm betting against the odds that you're 100%, but I'm throwing that on the table.
I respect the hustle. I really do. But going off of what I was saying, I think it's super sad that Ben Ford has been crying all summer about how Todd Gurley shoved it up his ass and scored 40 points on him real quick. And I think it's sad that he thinks that's quote-unquote luck. And I think that talk is just irrelevant. And also, him and Cooper were on the show last week, I believe. Both those losers left the league for no reason and decided to somehow come back, and they haven't done shit since. So I don't want to hear from either of them. I know Raji has a comment about that as well. So
yeah, I mean, I'll get into the defectors. That's what I call them, defectors. But I will say it's a sad breed, and I'm not sure exactly where it comes from, but it's definitely a plague, not only in the fantasy league, but everywhere in America.
I will say this, though. I do have a respect for Cooper Henry as a fantasy football owner because he has also won 3 times. But Ben Ford, no respect whatsoever, none at all. I have more respect for Jake Seitz as a fantasy owner than I do Ben Ford.
That's fair.
So we're starting this episode out strong.
Cooper Henry is a winner.
Cooper may be a winner, but he is the king of trash takes.
So, Girdler, you might as well go off that and introduce yourself a little bit.
I might as well, yes. Hey. Hello, Tyler. First time on the show, long-time fan. Don't think I've missed a podcast yet. So I've been really enjoying it, so glad to be on. My name is Thomas Girdler. I am a founding member of the EO12. Little known fact, I actually taught Rogers how to play fantasy football. He did not.
Wow.
He did not know how to. He did not know how to play. A long time ago.
That's some dirt.
Yeah, no. This is legit. I started a league. Me and my brother, and then a couple of family friends, Norm, if you remember Austin, we got in the league, and I was
Oh,
like,
of course.
Austin, do you want to join? He's like, I don't know what fantasy football is. So I'm proud to say that I welcomed Austin. I took his fantasy football virginity and got him into what he now loves and something that consumes a lot of his time. So,
And look at him now; he's cursed.
yeah.
You've tainted him.
See, my career in EO12 has been kind of up and down. Had a couple back-to-back second places that were just marred with injuries and the championship game. Let me just go through one example just because I have to get it off my chest. Going into Monday night against, I want to say Cooper. I'm down 1.5 points. I have one player left. He's got none. And I have AJ Green. I'm like, no problem.
That's a certain win, right, Tom?
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking about what I'm going to spend my money on. What am I going to get? Maybe a fishing rod or something. And then first series of the game, Bengals get the ball. Dumbass Andy Dalton leads AJ Green all over, right across the middle, and the safety on the Patriots just lights him up. AJ Green is concussed and out for the game. And just like that, the Super Bowl was ripped out of my hands.
That might be the most brutal loss in league history.
That is awful, man.
And then we're going to carry that up by this next year, being in the Super Bowl against Cooper. I had Odell Beckham. This was his rookie year.
That was against me, Tom.
Oh, it was against you? Yeah. So Odell's rookie year, him and Josh Norman getting a little scuffle. He gets a couple touchdowns that game. That get me to the Super Bowl, but he is suspended for the Super Bowl, and I end up losing. So back-to-back tough L's. I don't know if I would have won that year, but it was just a tough turn of events.
I think I had an injury that week too as well. So, but I think you probably would have obviously had a better chance if you had him.
Yeah. So I've had a successful tenure with the league.
You have a lot of heart.
Yeah,
you do have a lot of heart.
Yeah, my teams don't always score a lot of points, but we're known for fighting for the coach.
It's nice to
Tom's
finally
the type
have.
Of guy. Oh yeah, Girdler's the type of guy who will draft Jameis Winston, and he'll keep him in his starting lineup for the whole season. And we all know he's just maximum 12 points per game. But it doesn't matter. Thomas has heart, and he ends up making the playoffs. But Thomas, it is true though. Thomas did teach me how to draft and play fantasy football. And as you can see, I got his curse gene, those 2 championships. So, look, everyone knows it. Life is rigged. There's a lot of rigged things going on. That's just something that we all have to swallow when we wake up in the morning. But I'm truly the most cursed person you probably will ever meet.
Thomas, do you want to call anyone out in this league?
Do I want to call out in this league? I really don't have any takes at the moment who I really want to dish out. I think you've got some owners that are into it. But then we got a few that I really want to see step up their game. I'd like to see, maybe Sandifer and Soul maybe throw a comment, every now and again.
Sandy, I've seen more participation out of Sandy.
Yeah, that's true.
He comes in bursts.
I have, but at the same time, I haven't. Today, he asked where we can listen to the podcast. This is the 4th episode, 4 weeks into this, and he's asking that. Sad.
And he is in the league and group chat.
Yeah. Well,
but I guarantee you, Soul is unaware that there is a podcast.
Oh yeah.
I guarantee he's unaware that he got roasted in the chat. Like, what was it? Like 2 days ago.
We put his whole team under surveillance.
Under investigation.
In the public chat.
That he is in as well. That's
happy birthday,
crazy.
Soul. It was his birthday a couple days ago.
Oh yeah, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Soul.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday from the EO12.
Thanks for that second ship, Soul.
So as you can see, we talk a lot of trash here, and so did Jalen Ramsey the other day. He was going down listing different quarterbacks. Things along the line of he's trash. About Josh Allen, he said Flacco, he sucks.
All legitimate points.
Just those aren't bad. But Blake Bortles said he'd do what he got to do. I guess that's a compliment. But he also noted that Wentz and Watson would be the MVPs for the next 5 to 10 years, which I do appreciate hearing that. But going off of those comments, to go off of it, we could play a game here, sort of game where you'll kind of react just like off the top, like how he was listing quarterbacks. We'll just list different players in different leagues, and you can give your quick take on them.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah, let's do it. That'd be fun.
We got some good ones on here. We have we'll start off here. We'll go around. Start with Austin, then Smith, and finish up with Girdler. Keep it in the order. So I'll start off here. Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler? Oh, dude, that dude is a bum ass. How many excuses can you get from a quote-unquote top 15 player to play like crap in every single big game he plays in? I don't want to hear any more Jimmy Butler. He's trash. He's terrible. He's a top 25 player. So he's not horrible, but he's not top 15. Sad.
Overrated, so you would say.
Oh, overrated and a bag of trash on fire.
All right, Smith, Jimmy Butler.
I'd call him a boring quote-unquote superstar.
Yeah, his defensive abilities. He's like that's where he thrives, his defense. So
that's why
it's not fun to watch.
I said
but he can't check James.
No one can check James.
Yeah, there's no one can check him. Like
Except
KD and Kawhi maybe, but not really.
Except for Ben Four in his eyes. He can check James.
All right, Girdler. Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler's an elite talent. There's no two ways about it. He's an elite talent 15, in this league. He's top 15. He's borderline top 10.
Oh God.
Yeah, I think Jimmy Butler has all the tools to be a superstar, and I think he's shown them. I think he maybe regressed a little bit on the T-Wolves. I think some of the chemistry must have been up there with that team. I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't think there's much to say. I think he is an elite talent. I think
he's right in between there, kind of like the 10 to 15 range. Like he could be 15, but he is good. Like he's definitely good.
Yeah. I think he's just. I feel like he's just not electric. Like he's just boring. Like of course he's gonna get his points. He's gonna get his defensive stats, but like he's just boring to watch.
Also, you don't really watch him much.
He's not going to go out and win a game for you. That's what I'll say.
I also don't know much about Jimmy Butler. I've seen him play a couple times, but like I'm not like Zach Lim, who knows everything about everything.
Yeah, it's kind of odd why Zach likes Jimmy Butler so much. There's really no reason behind it.
You know what though, the Zach thing. The man openly admits that he watches 10 games per year, and now he tries to lecture me. Jimmy Butler's like a superstar. Guess what? Like Thomas Girdler said, he's got all the tools, but he built the freaking Weenie Hut Jr.
All right, so next player, Blake Griffin. Raji?
Is it me? Oh my God. You know what? Blake Griffin makes me sick. But you know what? At the same time, it's not his fault. It's the Detroit fans like Jake Seitz that sit in their rooms and they go, "Ooh, yeah, we got another superstar. We're going to sell some tickets." Guess what, Weenie Hut Jr., Jake? Nobody's going to the Pistons game whether or not we have Blake Griffin. Doesn't matter. He sucks. He's making 38 millies in like 2 years. That's just sad and sickening, and I'm going to keep saying those two words.
Smith?
I agree with basically most of the things Raj said, but I would just add a couple takes on. I have hated Blake Griffin since the moment he came in the league. I've always thought he was super, super overrated, not worth the money. He's a dude that can dunk.
When he's healthy.
I feel like, yeah, I just don't really. I think he's really a sad basketball player who doesn't deserve the max or whatever the contract the dumbass Stan Van Gundy gave.
It's something crazy. Let me pull that up real quick.
Yeah,
it's almost max, isn't it?
It's a max.
He's making 38. He's making 38 in 2022 or something.
Yeah. Well, here's I guess my take. I think it's hard to take money. It's hard to think about a player based on money in the NBA, just based on the salary cap keeps going up and these random dudes are getting maxes. But I do think here's what I think about Blake Griffin. He is a good piece on a team that is stuck in fourth place. That'll be like his peak. Like for the Clippers, he's a good piece on a team that will perpetually stay in fourth. If he's like the second or third player.
if he's making $20 million, you're saying?
Even if
Yeah,
he's making,
just.
if he's making $12 million, doesn't even
Yeah.
deserve that much money.
Yeah.
I think
He's.
he's a talent. I think he is pretty good. I think we're underselling. Like, he is a star. I think he is good.
I've never been a huge fan of him.
Can't be number one.
I think he's impressive to watch and like he has good plays, but to give up a first round pick when you need to rebuild, that's just real. I just don't see how that's explainable, especially when you have Drummond. I think Drummond and Griffin are two of like the most overrated superstars, if you want to call them that. They're just like they're not winners.
I actually disagree with Drummond. I feel like he had a really good year last year, and I feel like he's actually like working on his game at least.
He got better. He did get a lot better.
At least he started making free throws.
I'm really happy to see Andre Drummond use like his $25 million per year to get a little bit better at free throws.
For real. All right, last basketball player.
Next name.
This is one that Ben mentioned last week. Isaiah Thomas, as in the little Isaiah. Well, I guess they're both little. The young Isaiah Thomas.
He's a bum, dude. He sits there, goes to a new city because he was terrible in Cleveland, and he whines about playing with LeBron James. Which, I mean, come on. What are you doing? And now where is he making $2 million a year when he could have been making 30 if he would have had a decent season? He's awful.
Smith.
I respect the hell out of the guy. I think that whole injury that he had in Boston really messed him up as far as last year.
Yeah.
But I respect the hell out of what happened to him and the shit that went down with his family and stuff. So I don't think I'll ever say a bad word about him just because like what he went through, and I think he'll be back to where the level. I hope he gets back to the level he was with Boston because it's good to see a story like that, especially in this day and age of the NBA where everyone knows who's already going to win. So you can root for something else, I guess.
Smith, he's not going to hear this, so you don't need to. that was really mean. That was mean. All right. He had a great season with the Celtics. He could get to the basket unbelievably for his size. I just don't see him being a contributor to a winning team in today's NBA. I think the teams are too good right now. Like the point guard play is like he just gets abused in the paint. Like Kyrie Irving will take him to the post and score him at will.
I just think he has no confidence at all.
Yeah, I think
once like he had the most confidence in the world when he had the green light in Boston. Then he gets hurt, goes to Cleveland, misses half the year, comes back, and LeBron didn't want him involved in that offense. So he just didn't play. He didn't like it there. He got down on himself, and now I just don't think he can recover from that. But I think he could be a good player, and he was a really good player.
Yeah, I mean, I will admit his injury was obviously pretty serious. He doesn't look as electric as he was, even jumping. When you're that short, you got to be able to jump. And if you actually watch him now, he looks like he's stuck to the floor a little bit. So, kind of like Derrick Rose. I mean, he wasn't Derrick Rose.
That's a sad one too.
I'm not saying he was Derrick Rose, but he had a ceiling, and then the injury took him out of it.
Definitely. All right. Now we have two football players. The first one is Baker Mayfield.
Oh, goodness.
Raj?
I'm going to keep this one nice and short. Johnny Manziel 2.1.
Thank you.
All right, Smith.
I think most people in the league know my opinion on Baker Mayfield after our group chat. But for those who don't know, I think he is a bum. I think he will fail miserably in the NFL. And, yeah, I think he has less talent than Johnny Manziel did. And if he gets thrown into the weeds right away, he's going to be just like every other Browns quarterback that they've had in the past decade.
Garrett's?
I love Baker. I think he's a great leader. I think the teammates really rally around him. Yeah, that's probably true. I think he's a lot of fun probably too also. But But I don't know, just basically hearing him speak with a lot of the guys at OU, it just sounded like they loved him and he's a good leader, which you need as a quarterback position. I don't think that him getting drafted to the Browns or going first overall was the best thing for him. I think he's set up maybe to fail, but I believe in him. I think he could be pretty solid. He's some of his games in college against those SEC defense, like that Georgia game, he was unreal. I don't know if you guys watched that, but he lit up Georgia, and that's an NFL defense right there. That secondary they're all getting drafted eventually.
Yeah, I like Baker. At first I wanted to dislike him just because the personality that you would see that was highlighted when he played in college. But I do, after watching him in Hard Knocks, he does look like a leader. I know that's not all access like completely, but he seems like a good leader.
His girlfriend's a smoke.
That's always a positive. You have.
She better be.
I think he's an okay quarterback. Like, I don't think he's like the best quarterback ever, and that he's definitely going to be a starter for a while. But I think he's a good enough quarterback to where he has the opportunity to be good. But it's just going to depend on how the Browns can be, which I don't think they're going to be good strictly because of Hugh Jackson. But
I kind of want to ask a question to the group here. What rate, as far as talent wise, what do you think he rated in this draft class? Do you think he was the number one guy? Do you think, or do you guys think he was more of like the 3 range? Because I know my opinion, but I want to hear your guys'.
I mean, I think the Browns always take the biggest name in the draft, but I think if they would have taken Saquon Barkley, yeah, they would have made the better pick. So I would have liked to seen Baker drop a little bit. Top
as
5.
far as I agree with you with Saquon. Like, I don't understand how you can pass that generation talent up, but I'm talking quarterbacks. Like, as far as ranking of the quarterbacks in that class.
Yeah, I think he's third probably, probably second or third. I like Darnold a lot. I think there's a lot to like about him.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Rosen, I really don't know about that dude. Seems like a head case sometimes.
Rosen kind of reminded me of Thomas Girdler in lightweight football. He was just really, really big pocket guy. Just kind of.
Hey, I ran the veer
in the pocket.
I ran the veer. Yeah. I gave it every time, but I ran the veer.
And Raj was Saquon Barkley in middle school.
Oh, I used to play running back. I turned that football to a money bag.
Tom was like Nick Foles running the read option, where like there's no way he was gonna run it, but he faked it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all right. He was throwing it to Mike Williams. He was throwing it to Mike Williams, a.k.a. Tyler Osmond.
All right, so last one is going to be a receiver, a big name, DeAndre Hopkins.
Whew.
Raji.
I got to start. Can we reverse this one?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll
start.
Okay, go ahead, Tout.
I was going to say, I think he's an elite receiver, top 5 in the NFL right now. The year 2016, I believe, is the year that we were discussing as maybe being an off year. He still had, I have the stats of now, it looks like 954 yards. So, I mean, he's averaging over 1,000 yards a season for his career. Touchdowns could be higher. He doesn't score that many touchdowns besides in 2015 he had 11. But he's definitely an elite talent. I'm watching the film. He goes up and gets it. He makes circus catches. He's he's as fast as most receivers in the league. I think he's a good player.
I personally think he's a top 5 receiver. There's no doubt. He can run all the routes. He can go up and get it. You can give him a screen and he'll run for 80 yards. He's a stud. I think Deshaun Watson and him are going to light it up for the next 5 years. I have so much around. He's not better than not. AB is pretty much in a tier of himself, and then it's that next tier of like OBJ, Julio.
I'd agree.
DeAndre
Smith.
Everyone knows I love DeAndre Hopkins. I think he's an absolute baller. Raji was blind hating him in 2016 you said, I think?
Yeah, 2016.
Right? A bunch of blind hate from Raji. He knew he was going to be wrong. He still hasn't said sorry about all the hate he gave me and Lim. but I think that dude is probably the second or third best receiver in the league, depending on the season Julio has.
Raji Smith kind of stole your side on it, but let's hear what you got.
I got to address his comment, and then I'll give my opinion. First of all, I called Hopkins trash that year because Zach was holding on to him like he was his best friend. That he couldn't trade him, and he never traded him, and he ended up getting last place. So that's one reason I called Hopkins trash. But I will say, I was slightly wrong about Hopkins. Put that on the record. He, in 2016, to me, didn't show a lot of heart. So I did take away some respect points from him. I've never seen A.J. Green, Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, Mike Williams on the Detroit Lions. They always put a lot of effort. And then you get a guy like Hopkins. He looked like he was just kind of half-assing it out there. I have a terrible quarterback. I can't do it. Guess what, man? Kelvin Johnson had 2,000 yards with Dante Culpepper.
End of career Dante Culpepper.
Dude, Dante Culpepper was better than Brock Osweiler.
Yeah, Brock Osweiler was pretty
you should watch this. You should watch Culpepper. You should watch the Culpepper out of retirement videos. They'll really put you to sleep.
Dude, Wilton Spate could have given DeAndre Hopkins better balls than Brock Osweiler.
Look, Thomas.
Did Calvin ever have
Tyler O'Connor could have given better balls to DeAndre Hopkins than Brock Osweiler did.
Did Calvin ever have Dan Orlovsky?
Yes, it was that season. He had Orlovsky. He had Culpepper. He had 3 quarterbacks that season, Tyler, and he had 2,000 yards.
That's pretty brutal. They literally were just chucking it up to him. He's like, that's probably why he left so early. He's getting killed that year. He's like, I'm done. I'm not playing for this team.
Yeah, but
tired of this.
I still do. To end it, Hopkins. Yeah, I do give him top 6.
Top 6, dude. Name 5 better than him right now, Roger. I want to hear this.
I got A.J. Green, Antonio Brown.
A.J. Green's not better than him right now.
Julio Jones, Odell, Marvin Jones, and I got Hopkins after that.
Oh, my God. He's such a plug.
That's it right there. You don't need anything more from me.
All right, that's his. I guess if that's what he was saying is his top 5, that's his top 5.
I guess.
But so going on to another topic, something we were discussing the other day, what the most boring sport to watch is.
Oh.
So I guess we can kind of just go around. I'll start it off with, I was kind of just looking online to see if there's any big samples of it or anyone who was polled. And I found, this is kind of funny, I found a poll that was done in England.
Oh, jeez.
And they had the most boring sport, which I think this is one of the up there because I don't really play it, but golf. That was their number 1. I know you guys are all 3 of you are gonna think differently than that, but I'm not a big fan of golf. But the number 2 most boring sport in England to them is American football.
Oh
what?
My!
Oh, those are sad.
Well, you know what? Right? That's called the Revolutionary War.
Yeah, I mean that was shocking to me. Their most exciting sport, so the way they voted was either very boring, not boring, exciting, and they had the least boring and most exciting being athletics. I don't know what the hell that is. I'm looking at gymnastics, but that's number 1, followed by tennis at number 2. So I don't know what they're doing in England, but I'm glad I don't have to watch those sports.
Wow.
They don't deserve having an NFL game every year.
Tennis makes sense.
I agree.
Yeah, if they're saying American football is the second most boring sport, why are we playing games in London?
Yeah. I don't know.
Blake Bortles is sick of flying across the pond.
Yeah, he goes every year.
And I'm sick of waking up at 8 a.m. for fantasy football and my players sucking in London every year.
I always forget. I wake up. I'm like, how I have 23 points right now, and I just realized I have my defense and tight end playing.
Or you realize you have 4 players and they're all supposed to be sweet and they're jet lagged and they put up 10 points each or it's 5 points each and you're screwed.
Do those games sell out?
No way.
What, at Wimbledon?
Yeah.
Yeah, or Wembley.
Wimbledon.
Oh, not Wimbledon.
Is it Wembley? Is it Wembley?
Yeah, it's Wembley.
Wow.
I feel like they do. There's probably enough Americans in
I think it
England.
does. No, I think it sells out.
Yeah, I think a lot of people travel there.
I think there's no way people would travel to watch an NFL game in London.
The people in London,
Nah.
I mean, obviously some will say it's not fun, but there's the football fans there that actually do like football are buying those tickets.
What would you guys say the most boring sport is? Start with Raji.
Well, okay, I'm going to make this pretty clear cut, and I think this is pretty agreeable for a lot of people. Soccer is not fun, okay? I don't care what anyone says during the World Cup every 4 years when people act like they like soccer for 20 days in a row. But sit down and watch a random soccer game or a World Cup soccer game. They're kicking a ball around. No offense to soccer players, but there's no hand usage. That's the biggest flaw.
He likes some hand action.
As Girdler knows, I was a star goalie back in the day.
He's right.
That's because I use my hands, and then I realized, why am I stopping the ball from going into net when I can Odell Beckham that ball in an end zone? Come on. And then another reason, this is kind of going into the popularity of soccer. Why people always question, when is soccer going to get popular in the U.S.? My answer is it's never going to, because it's not the most fun sport to play, and in the U.S., everybody has access. Most people have access to playing basketball, at least, or football at their middle school. A lot of schools have football pads, which are you don't have in a lot of other countries. And I think when you play a football game, you play a basketball game, a baseball game, it's a lot more fun than soccer.
Also, the best athletes are going to go there. You get more money.
Yeah, it's cooler. It has more demand. Yeah, exactly, Tyler.
I think baseball, if either A, your team's not good, or if it's just teams that it's not a playoff game, it's just a regular season game, that's really boring to me too.
Oh, yeah.
But if it's a good if it's a Phillies playoff game, then I'm I'm hyped for it. But if it's the Rangers playing the Mariners on a Tuesday night and that's on, I can't watch that.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to sit there for 9 innings in a row, I'll be honest. I feel like my life would just be melting away.
Girdler?
Yeah, I'm going to take a little bit different take on this. I would say any game that I haven't put money on is pretty boring. But no, I would. It's hard. Other than football, it's really hard for me to sit down now and just watch full games. I don't remember the last time. I don't remember the last time I have watched an entire game other than football.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying football.
And then maybe a NBA game. Yeah, sure. I've watched full NBA games, but every other game is I don't know why, but it's tough for me to sit through an entire game. There's so many other things I feel like I could be doing and enjoying
That's
myself
what I'm saying,
more.
Football and basketball. Even basketball, if your team's not good, when the Sixers were bad, I didn't watch any basketball.
Oh no, I didn't watch the entire Pistons quarter this year.
I don't blame you.
I think basketball and football are pretty much the only two sports you can sit and watch the entire game.
Yeah.
I forgot. We were forgetting one that's by far the most boring, and it's probably not close. It's NASCAR.
Oh my god, that's so bad.
I don't know how you can watch that.
I don't know how people watch that.
I like that one. How it's not even the person doing the work; it's just a car.
I know that's the thing.
Well, they're
shut up.
No, not fully.
Shut up.
Not fully. The drivers do have to have skill. Come on.
Can we not talk about NASCAR, please?
Obviously, but how are they how is that? How do people sit there for hours watching?
No. I don't know. I don't know.
A lot of Budweiser. Only
half
way.
the people at NASCAR events are literally blacked out drunk.
I agree. That's a true statement.
That's what every event should be.
So I think Thomas Girdler would really like it.
Yeah.
All right.
I would fit in.
So
only if there's whiskey.
Wow. I'm not the whiskey
moving
guy.
on.
If you're willing to watch okay, keep going.
Moving on to league business. We had a small discussion yesterday about a possible raising of an entry fee, which I think is necessary. It's unbelievable that we can't pay at least $100 to get in this league when we put in more time than we do at our jobs, as you say, Austin, which is pretty crazy. And the fact that it's true, though, that and the fact that all of us have spent $100 in like a weekend or two, just like on random shit that we definitely did not need to buy. We can put that down to something we're putting 6 months worth of work into.
Yeah, I agree. It should go up. People will go out on a night with like their girlfriend and spend $100+.
I've done that a few times.
That's a humble brag, right? Nice.
It's a humble brag.
No.
Not a brag.
Congrats on the girlfriends.
Honestly, raise it up as much as you guys want. Don't care. I'm never leaving. Also, if you guys want me to take your $100 instead of your $50, that's completely fine.
Oh.
I did mean I'll just take it away from you. I'll use it on some. I'll invest it just like I have been, and life will be good. So,
what would the payout look like? Maybe if people saw that, they'd be more willing to. That'd be. We're putting $1,200 in there.
You really only have to show the payout to like 6 people because that's like the only people who are actually going to win this league.
Yeah.
And four of them are on this call right now.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I just think like 50.
Three. Smith. So I'm gonna say 3 of them. Let's be honest. I'm gonna say 3.
Who's not one of them?
I'm talking about himself.
No, I'm talking about the league manager. I'm talking about Kamish.
He's talking about Kamish. Ooh,
he's talking about.
Fired.
You know what, Thomas? You know what, Girdler? I want to make another bet this year about our records. You know what?
Yeah,
let's do that.
I won that bet last year and you never paid up.
If nobody, I did pay you. Go check Venmo.
All right, Rod. Let's do up the entry fee. $100. Me and you. Most wins.
Okay, look, we'll make a deal.
Wow.
We'll make a deal.
$100, most wins.
Take it or leave it.
No, I'll maybe 50.
Okay.
All right, let's
there's
see.
the other half of your entry fee right there. The $100. Now you have $100. Now you have $100 buy-in.
Thomas, I don't want to steal your money. You're not making enough, dude.
That's just shot.
That's a personal shot, I think.
I'm just trying to feed myself.
I'm just yourself. Oh man, Tom.
So another thing that I just want to throw out there, I don't really have an opinion too strongly on it, but we mentioned yesterday about having a kicker and having that spot removed, which I don't care either way, like I said, but the only reason I would be against it is because kickers decide a lot of games are decided by kickers. A significant amount are decided by kickers, and there's such a huge variance, and there's no way to predict what kicker's gonna be good. There are the 2, maybe 3 good kickers who consistently are good. Even them, last year, I was looking. Greg Zerloin had his high was 29, and he scored below 5 4 out of 5 weeks. So it's just so hard to guess who's gonna be good. It's so inconsistent, and for that to decide so many games, I think that it could potentially be removed for benefit, but also it has been in there for a while, and if you do know how to pick the right one somehow, then you can win a lot more games that way. So I could see it both ways.
I agree, Tyler. I personally I think it'd be tough to do in the league just because we've been so ingrained to having the kicker, but I think that fantasy football has the most variability amount of chance than anything that we do. It's kind of a shit show at times, and I think that a kicker can have a great game, and all he gets to do is kick 4 extra points, and you're like in real life, oh wow, perfect game for the kicker. But no, when the offense stalls and this kicker goes 4 for 7 for field goals, and he has a better game than guys that are making all their couple free field goals they get. I don't know. It doesn't correlate always to a good game.
Also, you would be removing that spot completely, so you'd be putting in a lot of leagues, as I saw online, would put in a flex of some sort. So that's also showing fantasy skill. If you can draft for depth, then you're going to be good in that because you're going to have another spot for that flex where some teams a lot of year don't even have enough good players to fill their lineups now in their flex spot.
Well, I'll say this. I will guarantee you, if you did an analysis on how many points each person or each player in the league is getting out of their kicker per week, per season, and you separated the seasons, I guarantee you there would be a good set of people, a very definitive set of people that are better than others at picking kickers. And that not only proves that there's strategy in picking a kicker, but that there's also heart involved when you pick the kicker.
Oh, don't pull my heartstrings.
I don't know if that's true though. I would like to see that analysis.
I 100% agree with everything Raji just said. There's so much more strategy than what you perceive, Tyler, into picking kickers. It's not about how good the kicker is.
I think there is strategy. No, I think there is. I think there's strategy, but I just don't. I think it's so variable that
out of all the positions, that one has by far the most because there's so much. It's like who they're like. There's so much that variables that go into it that there's no way to predict.
What?
Girdler finishing in second and then being in 12th the next season. Like that's variable.
Damn, it's true. It's true.
I just think it's something that should be discussed and then maybe have a vote on if enough people discuss it. Hopefully people listen to the podcast this far so that they can listen to this. But
I would not be happy if we took out the kicker.
I'm not creating a vote.
Yeah, I think it'd be tough to implement, but I could see the side of
if you take out the kicker, you're basically giving the people who don't spend time analyzing positions.
Thank you.
Those same people don't know how to analyze the positions to get that second flex on your team.
Can we get Zach on the analysis here?
Yeah, if Zach can get analysis, that would prove if it comes out and there's the same people on top in that position compared to if it's all the same. If there's a trend, if there's a positive correlation between that, I would say absolutely keep it. But I would be willing to bet
I'd be willing to bet I was top 2 in kicker points the last 3 years. I bet.
But that I know, but you could have had that. But then if everyone else is still floating around, that's one outlier, and you like, and that would make sense. You probably
Smith,
do.
He's trying to take your championships away from you.
No, he's not.
No, I'm not saying
Smith,
that.
I don't think that proves anything though, that you have the most points from your kicker.
Because in theory, it's still going to be like the best team's going to have the most points from their kicker.
I do stuff to where I pick kickers. It's not just about how good a kicker is.
Oh yeah, I switch kickers every week. Yeah,
so do I.
I mean,
kickers
but you know what,
Thomas,
some people don't switch every week. Some people don't switch every week like me, and it actually works out pretty well.
Yeah, because you get Gostkowski in the 8th every time.
Yeah, and you know what? I had to wait to pick. Meanwhile, you're picking up freaking Marvin Jones at that point. So
the kickers, the variance in like
if you
average
ever
kicker
pick
and a good
Steven
kicker are like 2
Gostkowski over, if you ever draft a kicker over Marvin Jones, that is like the most insane pick of all time.
I've never done that.
The only person that I know had more kicker points than me last year was Ben because he had the dude from the Rams who like got 40 a game.
Yeah, that's the guy I was talking about. But
Greg Zuerlein, is it?
Look,
right?
Yeah, Greg Zuerlein was in first. He had 5 games of 5 or below, and he had a game of 27 and everything in between. It's so even though like a player could have the most, it's still so random, and you're not keeping him on your bench when he's having those off weeks. You're dropping him.
Except Ben did keep him on his bench, which is completely like just.
Yeah, that's idiotic.
That's just like that blows my mind. Same thing with Lim. Lim kept the Jaguars defense.
Defense on your bench is one thing. If you have a legit defense, defense is an important position.
Yeah.
To an extent.
I mean,
if you have a top 3.
There are some defenses. There's some defenses you can't drop. Like for a bye week, you just can't drop them.
Yeah, I would not have dropped the Jaguars defense last year.
There's only one defense I wouldn't have dropped, and it was the Jaguars.
I had Seattle. Actually, I wouldn't have dropped Seattle.
Dude. All right.
And look where I ended up, dude. First place.
First place.
Look, I'm going to say this. The day when Adam Schefter tells me that we should get rid of the kickers, that's the day I'll listen. But for now, Greg Zuerlein can win me a game.
All right. Sounds good.
But I want the analysis, Zach.
Yeah, I would like to hear what other people have to say, just out of curiosity.
Raj,
But-
you run the analysis.
Come on, Kamish. I want to see some league votes.
Use those Excel skills.
Polls, some league polls.
Use those Excel skills.
There's one thing I said as commish on the first episode. There's certain things I will not ever change, and one is the point system. There's plenty of other leagues people can join if they want to do something different, but this is the EO12.
Hey, Raj.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Do we get negative points if a kicker misses a field goal, right?
-1.
Okay, that's what I thought. Good.
But if they miss an extra point, nothing. It's just nothing. So.
All right.
All right, well, that's all I had for today. We'll wrap this up. We'll go around. Each of you can have your final 30 seconds of whatever comments you want to get in. So we'll go in the order we started. So Tom or Raji, you'll go first.
All right. I just want to say, if anybody ever leaves the league again, they will not be coming back in. And I don't care if you're broke. You got to take out a loan to join this league. That's just how it's going to be.
Everyone
And
knows
also,
if we start, we're not letting anyone else in. If you leave, if you did that and you're in the league, consider it a blessing.
Yeah, I mean, there's people that would join this league instantly, I think.
We have a waiting list.
We do have a waiting list. Listeners, you might be thinking we're lying.
Yeah, no, he does.
Yeah, backups, you never know. But
Yeah.
also, I really want the league. This is actually serious. I really want the league to consider the entry fee. Put a lot of time into this league. I want to win some pretty good money when I win this season. So consider that. I think it's worth it. You guys spend the same amount of money on bets and at the bar. So let's put this in the league.
We have 4 yeses right here. So, I don't know what happened to that vote originally.
How'd that even? How did?
Yeah, I don't want to exile people if they don't really want to up it.
Yeah, if there's people who if you just can't, I guess that is one thing. Especially since we already agreed on the 50 this year, but next year it has to go up to 100 at least.
I mean, I wasn't saying to 100. I was trying to get it more 50 to 65, 70. That's what I was trying to do originally.
Oh, even that. Oh, yeah, I'm down for that for sure.
Yeah, that sounds good. I guess I'll sign off as well here. I just want to thank Tyler again for running this podcast. Your work is very much appreciated, and it's great to finally get on. I've got an EO12 podcast banner at my desk right now. I'm a big fan, subscriber.
Glad to have you on, Thomas.
Yeah, thank you. I think just one quick thing. I think about the punishment prize. It should be something similar that Ben was talking about, where it does get passed on, but it has to be something embarrassing kind of deal where it's like a costume or something where it's just like a running, tradition with the league where it gets dirty. You get a couple beers spilled all over it. Well, you got to keep it and pass it down to the next guy who's got vomit stains on it. So it's just
hard because we're not all in the same place too. So you don't know, you don't get to see it in person.
No, I agree. That's fair. Maybe
we'll
something.
It's to be discussed. We'll have to have by the draft. I think draft day the loser punishment should be announced.
Oh, it has to be announced so that people don't so they're not 0-1 and already not agreeing.
Right, 100%. It's gonna be announced.
Because Mike after the draft, he's gonna know his team is trash and he's just gonna yeah.
So last but not least, Thomas Smith. It's good to have you on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Hope to be on again soon, and I will leave with one comment here. I think it's kind of sad that the league's finally starting to take it seriously after some new guy came in and won it 3 years in a row. I know me and Austin have talked about this before, but it's kind of sad that I've been getting the most heat, finally getting people talk crap to me after 3 years of winning. So I think it's kind of sad. People are finally starting to turn it on, and I look forward to
Smith, you don't give a shit about your winning. You can shut it.
Thomas, sit in your little cubicle and listen to me talk real quick.
Your dubs have not been that impressive.
Oh, he's in that cubicle.
Who'd you beat? You beat Ben. Who'd you beat? You beat me once. That was a good one. Respect
Tommy
for
beat
that
you,
one.
and you're saying his opponents
Respect
weren't
for that
impressive.
I'm saying Ben was trash.
See, these are the. I would
And
like
Soul.
to let the,
You mean Soul.
I would like to let the listeners know this is exactly what I'm talking about. Some dude out of left field comes in with a stupid comment.
I don't think Smith is a good fantasy football owner.
Wow.
Oh goodness.
That's hard to say.
Girdler.
I think he's picked a couple guys that, like in the
That is
7th
hard to
round, that
say.
have just propelled him to being great.
Girdler.
You could hit some dart throws. Good
He
job.
picked some kickers, some lucky kickers.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, there we go. Let's remove the kicker.
I officially have the most sad comment that I've ever heard right there. Just right there. Girdler, you're so good, and then you just completely ruined this whole podcast by saying that. But, yeah, so I look forward to beating Girdler again, probably in the finals. Thanks, Ty, for having me on.
All right. Yep. No problem.
Thank
Thank
you,
you for coming on. Yep. No problem. So, exactly. If you have any topics you want to discuss, you can comment. Follow us on Twitter at, what is it? Austin, you know it.
It's Oakland 12 FFL. Should also be on our picture.
Yep. So follow. Yeah, it'll be on the page here. Follow us on there. You can suggest topics on there as well. That's all we got for today.
We're trash, too.
Yeah, you can make fun of us. I don't care. Talk some trash back. All right. Well, that's all we got for today. So until next time.
Peace out.